based on the type of gas or liquid gas. So the first one is a chemical system. Second will be inert gas, and the third will be a more traditional carbon dioxide system. So to begin with the chemical system, we have the two main chemicals, HFC 227 and FK, previously known as NOAC.
Yes, the FK5112 is named also Novec. Novec is the name patented by Tresemme, but the chemical name is FK5112. Okay.
So we use a high pressure system based on 50 bars. It's a lot higher than commonly or older technology, which typically 25 bars. That means that we can go further and we can use more complex setups.
Exactly. But also we have certified 25 bars. So in this case, we have a certified 25 and 50 bar systems. Okay.
We also use seamless cylinders. We go all the way up to 220 liters. So we can use less cylinders, making it a little bit cheaper than using more smaller cylinders.
Yes, we have one of the most biggest cylinders of the market, 220 liters. It's a so huge cylinder, and it has a lot of capacity of chemical gas.
We always have a minimum stock of components. They are compatible between the chemicals and the inert gases. So it's just a lot easier to manage the stock since the parts are not separate, we're not dependent on whether somewhere are delayed or we suddenly have to use a different part.
Exactly. We thought about our competitors and we checked the market and we make the things different. For example, given we have only one type of hose for all of our gases, one type of check valve, one type of manual release, one type of solenoid. That's why you can have you can use the same component for different type of gases, and it is very important because you can have a little stock in your warehouse, and you can use the same component for as you wish and you need.
Yeah, this is like if you only use one type of part in your company, you always have the same parts, you don't have to worry about it. Then we have cost-effective material. Since everything is certified with EDS and the calculations are very specific, we can fill the single cylinder up to the specific ratio. So you can think more efficiently and cheaper.
Yes, you have to take into account that not only our components are certified. We have certified the components according to 94 and the system as well. We discharge 6 tons of chemical agent to the air only to get the parameters to put and the results has been put in the hydraulic calculation. That's why we have certified the components, the system, and the hydraulic calculation. It is very important because not all brands in the market has all the circle goals. Maybe you can find in the market companies that have some components certified, but not all the system and the hydraulic calculation. We have all the certified flows.
So, as we said, we have the 2 agents, and our hardware is possible. Well, it's compatible to use one with each other. Everything's approved. There's no approximation. Everything is exactly calculated. And we also use a direct release circuit, so there's no need of a pilot cylinder.
Exactly. And on one thing that is important, for example, if you have one cylinder file with HFC 227, and when you have to make the hydraulic test in TDS, you can change the chemical agent or no FK because you can use everything. And the cylinder, the valve, the hose, the check valve is the same for each type of agents. There is not any difference between, it's a hardware difference between the chemical agents.
Yeah. Everything we're doing we're making it simple and as easy and user friendly. We're using digital documents, we have videos, we have links, we try to use as much pictures and diagrams. Our manuals, for example, one of ours is about 70 pages, one of the competitors is about 300, just because we try to simplify things and keep them as user friendly. So there are many less errors.
Yes. One of our some point is what we always think with the installer, and we try to put the things as much easier as possible to install. For example, one of our strong point as well is that we don't use any sealant, neither Teflon, special glue, and anything of these types in to assemble our components. So that's why install and make the maintenances in our system. It's very easy and quickly and safely.
Yeah. And we don't have any spare parts. We don't have any fuses or diaphragms and sprays. So if your system discharges, all you have to do is refill the gas, and that's it. There's no need for spare parts.
Exactly. We don't have. You can, if there is a discharge, you don't need to remove any safety disc or remove any. There is no components that you need to replace. Only you fill the cylinder and that's all. You fill the cylinder and the same cylinder needs to, you can install the next day. You don't need to have spare parts in your country or wait for it. This is an example of one of our valves, the biggest one, and for 15 you can show here one. This is the DN53. We have another one that it is bigger than that. Okay. It is DN12. This is a bank of cylinders of the chemical agent system. It's an assembly. Okay, as you can see, it's very easy. There is a simple components, standard bracket. It's very, very, very simple to install our systems.
So for the known gases, we have 4 quality available. Those 0, 1, 100, 55, and 541.
The 541 is the typical, it's named the Energen. Okay.
We have a wide range of configurations. We use 80 liter and 140 liters, using 200 and 400 bars, depending on the application.
And it is important to say that we have certified 2 types of system, modified system that use restrictor and the regulator system. Both of them are certified according to your designers.
Well, as before, since many of our parts are interchangeable and equivalent, we always have minimum stock of components, and everything is all easy and cheaper.
modular. Okay, the bracket has been decided according that you can use the same bracket for 80 and 140 liters. That's why you can have in your warehouse little components. And you, according your the system that you can, if you want to assemble, you can use the same bracket. Then we thought that to design the simple as possible all of our components. The system are certified as well, like BDS.
Does your system have 25 bar or 42 bar? Or do you need those? So the next one is for you. For the load gas, using okay. So as before, all our systems, they are designed in a way that they can be assembled and disassembled with or without pressure. It's always better to be careful, but theoretically everything should work. There's no instant different. So yeah,
That's it. Exactly. There are a lot of parts in our valve that are patented. For example, given the pressure valves. The pressure valves, when the other components can be assembled and disassembled with or without pressure. You can install the pressure valves into the valve, screw on until installed. You can move the pressure valves until the correct position, and that's all. You don't need to put any type of sealer, and it is safety because inside it has a non-breakable valve that prevents any leakage. So it is very useful because you can install the cylinder in the position that will be better for you. There are a lot of valves that has the pressure valves in one position, and you cannot orientate these pressure valves. So you are obligated to install the cylinder in this position because we need this pressure valves, and it's the focus is in front of the wall. So in our cases, you can move the pressure valves, and you always will see the pressure if it is correct or not.
and as before, we have a direct release circuit, so there's no need of an auxiliary pilot cylinder to set up the main battery.
Exactly. We can discharge until 79 cylinders only with one solenoid. Okay, and before no, after I will explain this case better. But we don't need pilot cylinder. As you know, there are competitors that when the one cylinder is more than 8 or 9 cylinders, they must install an extra pilot cylinder. In our case, it is not necessary, so our system is cheaper and easy to install.
So, if you look at chemicals, it's a discharge-free commissioning system, and well, there's no spare parts.
The same than the chemical and CO2 systems.
And as always, we have digital documents, we have videos, we have everything to facilitate and make it as simple and easy for the installers. And
exactly. When you will receive our products, you will receive one QR in the box that you scan it. You will check in our program 3D this product. You will with that you will see all technical data sheets, videos, how to install it safely, and information that facilitate the manipulation or installation of the product. Okay.
Let's see, I want to explore the pilots with muchos integrantes. Muchos integrantes. But so
this is a EN12 inner valve. Okay. It is compact and very nice and very good performance valve. Okay. We have 200 and 300 bar valve.
So, what about the
Yes.
it's like
This is the OLED. Here you will install the solenoid valve and the manual actuator. Okay. This button is the fuel cylinder. Is not, you don't need to touch it. We will explain its functions after. Okay. And here is the pressure gauge port. Okay, here you can see in this layout, you can see the first cylinder is the master cylinder. Okay, and when you count 6 cylinders, the 6 cylinders is again master cylinder. You can see here in the also things. It's not. Okay, so say it. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Here you can see that the first cylinder is you install the solenoid and the manual actuation, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, you use this cylinder as master cylinder again. You can do the same until 79 cylinders. And 79 cylinders, why 79 cylinders? Because it's the maximum that BDS allows to be charged with only one solenoid. If you have a manual cylinder of more than 79 cylinders, you will need to install 2 solenoid valves.
okay, finally we have carbon dioxide systems.
Okay, on board. In our systems, in air and CO2 system, it is not needed to use flange, and that's why in this case we can make the product a little bit cheaper because the flange is so a little it's it's noise
Cheaper. Yeah. Wow. It's just the same. We're going to repeat the same as the other 2 systems. All the parts are interchangeable, so it's easy to pick up the stock. The manifold is seamless. We use a modular system, so as Albert said, the easy bracket system, you can choose. It's kind of like Legos. You can pick 1, 2, 3, and add them up for subtract them. And everything is certified by GDS software, certified. So we have. Well, the same thing again. It's safe. We don't have to use a pilot simulator.
It's the same because we thought and we designed that putting the focus in the same parameters. The design the easier and the better as possible. Okay. This is the CO2 valve. The only difference between the inner valve is that it doesn't has the pressure gauge format mechanism because CO2 don't use pressure gauge.
Yeah, we don't use a pressure gauge, so that's why we don't have the whole.
Okay, yes, the layout of the one CO2 valve cylinder.
We'll answer the questions when we finish.
When we finish the presentation.
Okay, so angry. Pregunta que no vas a hacer.
Pero en definición te reconocemos.
Sí, pero Stefano no.
Hi, Albert and William. This is Devansh.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, hello. So I'll just briefly introduce them. So hi, Mr. Ronnie. I'm Devansh from Saffex. We're Airfire's partners in India and South Asia. So to cover largely gas flooding systems, basically we have solutions for all kinds of gases. So inert gases, CO2, as well as all kinds of clean agents, majorly FK 5112 and HFC 227EA. With clean agent, we have solutions available with 25 bar and 50 bars, and with inert, we have 80 liter and 140 liters, both at 200 bars and 300 bars as well.
Yeah.
So I would request you if you can use your mic, and if you have any questions, and we can quickly go through any queries, and then we can consider how actually the flow of work will happen in terms of how should we be receiving the inquiries and what kind of measurements do you need to take when you do the survey so that we can design the system accurately for you.
Un dos unas dadas y tal para comenzar el proceso de Sí, más
Sí, bueno, pues you need to have the dimension of the room is the first that you need. Height,
width, length,
and altura.
The height of the ceiling.
The height. With that, you can send us these dimensions, and we have one program that design the quantity of gas that we need to cover this hazard. After when it is finished or it is already ordered, after that we make the same parameters. We design the layout, exactly the layout, and we send these parameters to BDS design program, and it design finally the pipe. It says the pipe dimension. It says the nozzle, what type of nozzle it is needed, the calibrated that it is needed, the room needs damper or not the need damper and so on. But the first that you need to know is the dimension of the room that you need to protect. It's very easy. With height, or with only the dimensions, we put in one program that we have. That this program you can have as well. We can make a little training, and you can do it by yourself, and you can have this. The parameters only to make your own orders to your clients. When this orders is it's okay, after that you send us the AutoCAD and we prepare the layouts and it's design the system and send the system to BDS program, and it says the exactly parameters that we need to manufacture.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Sir,
Very clear.
we want to know that we are facing some problem in
Vale,
Bangladesh.
hemos preguntado.
We want to learn.
Lo del pilot. ¿El pilot? Que tiene una enganchable.
Espera, perdona chicos. Chicos,
Sí.
hola. Sí, os estoy diciendo el design sheet. What Albert, ¿le habéis comentado esto del design sheet? Para hacer los diseños.
Esta es lo que decía. Mira.
No, English.
So, basically, hi guys, sorry, I'm Stefano, other colleague of the team. So, but basically, Albert and Will were explaining is that when they do the designs, okay, if for example, we're seeing innards, these are the minimum requirements that we need. And you can see top left, we have our NFPA standards or EN 15004 standards. And then we have the X amount of rooms that you're required to protect, the fire class required to apply in each room. So I assume in Bangladesh and India, you mainly use NFPA standards, correct? Let's see. Therefore, what else do we have? Oh, sorry, it's like echo, right? Then, so we have NFPA class A, and then like you were saying, the guy was saying, you just need your dimensions, whether you have ambient height, false ceiling height, false floor height. Much, let's say 0.5, 0.3, okay? And as we can see here, then we can choose what one of your colleagues before, engineer Aziz, I think it was asking about the cylinder range. So here you can see you have the ability to choose 80 liters to 100, 80 to 300, 140 to 200. And this way, automatically, you get all the results accordingly. Number of cylinders required to protect this volume of 105 cubic meters, the necessary nozzles, recommended diameters. As Albert highlighted, it's vital that this design sheet is just an approximation. The hydraulic calculation, which is a software approved by BDS, is the software that determines all the correct diameters to apply in the pipe network, in the nozzles, and then the corresponding diaphragm calibration. Okay, so as you can see, if Devansh is good wishes, you can share this Excel with you guys to facilitate any design requirements you may have. Here you have your CO2 design sheet. Then you have your HFC 227, your FM200 design sheet, and here the Norvec FK5112 design sheet. As you can see, it's all the same philosophy. You have little bubbles that come out to help out to remind you what each section is. So here you have select standard that you want for your calculations, and you just fill in. Here you can put name of the room to facilitate location of what you're calculating, switch, battery, archive. Okay. In the case of chemicals, as you can see, it's a bit different because, as they highlighted, we have a wider range of cylinders to apply. As you know, the chemical agents can be more flexible in adapting to the actual volume being protected. So here you have a proposal of all the cylinders that we required for 125 cubic meters. In this sense here, we would use, for example, 120 liters, 50 bars to get a more cost-effective solution. And then you go. You have one cylinder, 120 liters with 97.5 kilos, one nozzle of 1.5 diameter. Okay. Is it all clear? We are parking it up. Please share your nozzle coverage area. How can we consume without? I don't. So,
Thank you,
So-
Stefano. Yeah, I think there are
No.
a few questions in the chat.
yeah, that's what I was looking. Just to clarify,
Yeah.
from what we understood, we were having more of a technical product. What I'm seeing now, we're going more on the design aspect of the systems. Just because the guys, Will and Albert, okay, they're the responsibles. They're in charge of the product development of the systems,
Right.
hardware, and all that. We have
Right.
another team of colleagues who are in charge of the design. As engineer Aziz is asking about the nozzle coverage, about the pipe diameters with the hydraulic calculation, they would have to be done with our other colleagues. So
Yeah.
is it?
So,
What's your main objective?
Yeah, so Mr. Aziz, what I would recommend is that this training was scheduled to be an introduction to fire suppression systems. You know, just to get you familiar with what components are available, what do the components look like, at least in the drawings, and what kind of systems do we have, what kind of approvals do they carry, what pressures, what cylinders, etc. Uh, so I think how we will be moving forward is that you can share the dimensions of the rooms with us, and we will get back to you with a design and a quote for the same. The biggest advantage, we have been using air fire products now for quite some time, and the biggest advantage with them is, one, you're sure of the quality because the system entirely is obviously VDS approved, but each and every major component is also VDS approved. And that's why it has good acceptance with consultants in India. And apart from that, the installation is quite easy compared to any other manufacturer. The installation on the site is quite easy. So once we do have the site drawings and the dimensions from you, we can design the system. And yes, of course, through the various software, we will be submitting hydraulic calculations, which will have all the details you need about the MS pipe and nozzle coverage, etc.
Sir, I understand. Sir, are you hear me?
Yes.
Sir, actually in local market, if you see this, when we know that most of the room size is 10 feet, 10 feet, 10, 15 feet, its height almost 10 to 12 feet is accordingly. But in our market, within short time, get a 1 day's time. On the time we want to learn the one system, how can we share our product? How can we share it with our client? How can we easily install? How many device quantity? How within short time, if we find out and share the BOQ, it's possible to get the job very as early as possible. So I want to just ask you, if possible, try to teach me this type of quantities, approximate design, one design show with us. How can we do the calculate this type of nozzle required or everything? If we learn, then we can share with our client. It very easy for us or promote your brand.
I'm not sure who asked the question, but I think Stefano just showed you the Excel sheet that we are using, right, for the design. I think initially what will happen is once you send us the dimensions of the room, etc., we can reply to you very quickly, super quickly with the BOQ. That should not be a concern. It doesn't take us much time, and so we can reply very quickly. And with I think India and Bangladesh, we don't even have much of a time difference, so we're always available. That's not an issue at all. So I'm sure you can share your inquiries with us, and we can reply to you very quickly. I'm sure you'll be happy with the speed.
Sir, another question: SFC 227 and FK 5112 is both a similar gas.
Chemically, no. I mean, they're agents in the sense that they have a dual phase, whereas they're initially at ambient temperature and pressure in a liquid gas phase. FK, which is a Novec, is 100% liquid phase. Okay, and being super pressurized by nitrogen at 50 bars during the discharge, it creates a turbulent flow where we change from a liquid phase to a gaseous phase. Okay, But if we look into the technicalities, as in the chemical composition, they're two completely different agents. Hydrofluoric carbon, HFC, and then FKs are ketones, organic chemical molecules. Basically, it was a marketing strategy. As you know, back in the days, FM200 was promoted by DuPont and Chemours and other manufacturers. 3M came into the game promoting their Novec agents, and it was just basically a battle of brands. We as manufacturers, we supply both chemical agents. I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about what the solution requires, what the market has available locally, and making it easy for you. Okay, we're not, I say agent sellers, we're system manufacturer developers. So what we value is providing the correct solution for the adequate application. Was it the correct solution for the application in question? Okay, so one thing that's very important to take into account is that depending on the projects that you're doing, so, you know, if you have a multi-site, multi-zone protection to do with selector valves, long pipe runs, then we will always suggest you, always push to go to inert gases, for example. If you have numerous rooms, small volumes, where you have the cylinder located near to the rooms being protected, then logically we'll propose or we'll recommend to use the chemical agents, which is more cost effective than the inert gases. Okay.
Yes, sir. Another my question is main cylinder. If you don't use this system main cylinder, it actually decrease our price value, or what kind of advantage we get if we don't use main cylinder with if we compare with other system.
You mean the pilot cylinder? If
Yeah.
the fact that we don't use a pilot cylinder simplifies your bill of materials, simplifies your stocking, simplifies installation time. It's less steel, less brass. So of course, comparing to other manufacturers that need the pilot cylinder to activate their backup systems, then we will have that price advantage in that sense. Okay, the pilot cylinder will only be required when you have to do a selector valve activation. Okay, you're doing a multi-zone protection with one system, and there you will be using a pilot cylinder to open the selector valve, and after that, open the cylinders required to take that volume. So go with the fact that we do not use a pilot. It gives you that advantage, cost-wise on materials and cost-wise on the human labor, that you'll be quicker to just carry out the installation.
Another question is it's I want to know interfacing with fire detection system. Fire detection, your alarm panel will supply with this.
No,
gas.
Devansh, so we as Air Fire, we're just gas suppression system manufacturers.
Yeah.
We take care of the gaseous side. Devansh from Saffex, they can
Yes.
complement, I assume, the package with the corresponding detection and control panels, fire panels.
So our stance on that is that Air Fire experts when as far as compared with fire suppression systems are concerned. So what we also suggest you that if you are free to use any kind of detection system that you would like to, that is compatible, and all kinds of detection systems are compatible. So if you want a solution from India, we can ship it together with the fire suppression components as well. So you have the complete package. Otherwise, you are also free to procure detection system locally from whomever you would like.
Understand, sir. Another question: if I when I meet with someone, the time they are asking me, actually, if we promote your brand, on the time they ask me why we do buy your product, not other product. Actually, I want to know the specialty your product. Who is the specialty from others?
We would need a nice chai, sit down, have a nice long conversation, because it could be a long expose. I mean, what Albert and Will were highlighting was basically those advantage points to differentiate yourself from the competition, other manufacturers. Okay, the base point is a simplification. Our philosophy is simplifying the systems. Okay, at the end of the day, they're fire suppression systems. We have to guarantee that they will work, because as you know, you install them, but then they won't work tomorrow. They only work until there's a fire. So you have to guarantee that after X amount of months and years, the system will activate. So you can only do that by guaranteeing a solid quality control, solid production facilities, workshops, guaranteeing proper manufacturing procedures, which, as you saw afterwards, are validated every year. We have audits with PDS and LPCB who come to our facilities to verify everything we're doing is according to their standards and international standards. That's on the, how do you say, more theoretical production side. On the general philosophy of the systems, the basis of our development is to simplify, keep it stupid simple, because you never know where the systems are going to go, who's going to install them, and the training that they have on them. So the simplest we make them, the safe proofing we do and avoid any human errors on the long run. That's why we simplify the components. That's why our discharge hose is compatible with the CO2 and the inert gases. The pneumatic head is compatible with all the systems. The manual actuator, same, is compatible with all the systems. Because this way, if you have a stock, it's simple. You know, you only have one component of each type, and you rest assured that you'll always be installing the correct one. Whereas in other manufacturers, each type of system, whether it's chemical, a CO2, and an inert system, are all very different. They have different valves, they have different accessories, the configurations are very different. So of course, it means that your team or the technicians, everybody have to have continuous training. In our case, as we bring down this complexity, it streamlines. It makes the design process simpler, the bill of materials simpler, stocking, maintenance, installation. Okay, so it's bringing like a complete package of simplifications to guarantee, like we said, that in the long run, the system is always going to work. What else can we differentiate ourselves with the manufacturers? The collaboration that we have worldwide with our partners. So in this case, Saffex Fire, it's a tight net. Okay, we have to back them up. So they have their training from us directly. They have full support in all aspects, whether it's sales aspects, technical aspects, installation. You know, we're fully available because it's not just a question about selling the systems. It's giving you the correct support at all times. Okay, during installations, maintenance, whatever. So, like I said, it's a philosophy, a way of doing that differentiates us from the manufacturers elsewhere who may just prioritize selling the product and then then send you off and to the next business. For us, it's long-term partnerships.
Yes, sir. Uh, Understand, sir. Sir, we are facing some when we marketing in our canteen local area, we are facing some problem like that. They have a target price. Suppose it's 10 lakh, but according to our design drawing, it's more higher. On that time, how can we support this client, or how can we get the job?
The way we try to work on these scenarios is to deviate the attention on the pricing, because everybody's looking at cost, but they don't look at the value that you're bringing. So you also have to understand against who you're playing the game. So you have to understand who's the manufacturer, the competitors, what are they proposing, the configuration that they're doing. Because this way, what you do is you dismantle the technicalities and you put in evidence when the other manufacturer or the other competitors may be lacking in something, or they may have not optimized correctly the design, or they may have not considered something. So we always try to first look on the technicalities of the design and the hardware before just going to price. Because if the end user sees that you're giving them a focused and logical explanation, technically justified, then they will evaluate it and they'll take it into account. If it just goes on prices, of course, it'll go cheap. But if you go cheap, you have to do shortcuts. You have to cut off somewhere. So if you cut off on the quality controls, you cut off on packaging, transports, if you start reducing costs everywhere, you can't get any more guarantees in the long run. Devansh, I don't know if you want to add something.
What we've
Sir,
done.
I want to know one more technical question.
Yeah.
I want to know actually oil and gas suppress delay time is how much is delay time? It's 3 seconds or 5 seconds. If any false fire come in or something someone press, how many time will delay before suppressed?
So regarding that, I think you need to have programming on your control panel for the detection system. So there can be a delay that you can schedule in your control panel. So in case of a false alarm, or in case of a false alarm, you can schedule a delay that the alarm will go off for a minute or 2 minutes, depending on what you see is appropriate. And then somebody can actually verify whether there is an actual fire, and they can abort the system if required before the system is released.
Yeah. I mean, it's never an immediate reaction. As soon as the cross detection detects a smoke, heat rise, or whatever, the system is not going to discharge immediately. As Devansh highlighted, there's a delay because you have to evacuate the room, the premises. You have to give time for the people around to, leave the location. So that's why there's always a minimum delay, which is I think like 30 seconds normally. But like Devansh says, you can program it according to maybe local standards, local requirements by the end user, whatever. But then, as also Devansh highlighted, you have your abort switch. So that means that if you notice that it's a false alarm, it's a whatever, you just push the abort button and you will cut the electrical activation and the system will not discharge accordingly.
Yeah. Actually, I want to know about refilling. When false fire or something has happened, actually, a refill we can get from our country or other it can send to India.
We are providing, see, if you have an approved plant, you can refill it at your end if that kind of approval is available to you. We can also ship the gas to you if you need it.
Yeah.
And yeah, if you have the right machines, then you can do the refilling by yourself.
Do you have a filling station locally in Bangladesh?
Maybe not.
Yeah, then we can support you through our partners and filling stations in Kolkata. So it will like basically reduce your shipping time and cost as well. So we can support you on that front.
Understand, sir.
And
Actually, sir,
about
Yeah.
nozzle here have any required K factor? Actually, suppression is play of nozzle. That means it's depend on K factor or others only on dia.
K factor is only used in water mist and sprinkler water-based systems, if not
Yeah.
mistaken. In gas systems, we don't talk about K factors. You have diameter of nozzles. You do discharge tests, real life discharges with all the agents, and from there you determine, your coverage areas, your maximum heights, and the X amount of kilos according to minimum pressure being discharged through the piping. You guarantee X amount of kilos. So if you have 100 kilos, you have two nozzles. You divide, and you have about 50 kilos will go to each nozzle. Okay. So it's not so much about K factors. It's about how many kilos of agent I have to discharge into X volume in 10 seconds, or if it's chemicals, in 60 seconds if it's inert gases. That's why afterwards you play with the diameters of the piping and the nozzles to guarantee that we move the agents from one place to another.
Yes, sir. I understand. Our team here have any question? You guys can ask.
Sure, go ahead. Sorry?
yeah, are there any other questions for us?
Sir, thanks for your time, sir. Just
Esta persona como ve la parte de negocio de aquí,
Eres el único.
Ok, ¿me puedes pasar en control de la presentación? Lo estoy solicitando, please.
Okay, if there are no more questions, we will continue with
Yeah,
the
we
presentation.
can wrap up the
Do you have more
meeting.
questions? Yeah.
Yeah, I think we can
No more
wrap it up. Albert
Sure,
and
carry on.
Stefano, thank you so much for your time.
No worry, I'm still here. I'll stay in the chat. Okay, so Albert and Will can proceed with the presentation. Shall we go into the details of installation maintenance, Devansh? Do you find it? useful,
we need
or
to, I'll just check
are we
with
gonna
Mr. Ronnie.
cause
And
or are we
I'm
gonna
not
cause
sure
more
whether we need
confusion?
it at the moment.
So,
Uh,
¿me podéis pasar el control, por favor, de la presentación? Lo estoy solicitando.
this is not something that we need to do at the moment, right, Mr. Ronnie?
Okay.
I think they seem to be facing some issues with the connection.
Yeah, they've gone silent suddenly. Yeah, no worries. Just wait 4 minutes.
Sir,
So-
আপনি join-
Yeah, Mr. Aziz, go ahead.
Okay, so should we continue with installation maintenance?
Okay. Sir,
William,
actually, my
Yeah, go ahead.
little bit some observation regarding Bangladesh market. So share us your policy. We can then we can promote your brand as well as we also trying best in this regards.
Sure. I think so. William and Albert, right now we won't be going into installation and maintenance at the moment. And Mr. Aziz and Mr. Ronnie, yes, I'll definitely connect with you outside this meeting, and we'll just chalk out an outline how we can take this forward.
Yes, sir.
Hello guys, sorry, I was in meeting with bank actually, with another meeting, Zoom meeting. So I heard everything and I told them to record this.
Yeah, I think we've answered most of their queries. Just commercially, how should we take it and go to the next stage? I think we can connect outside this meeting and chalk out how to go forward and how we can market the product in Bangladesh.
Yeah, we have upcoming some projects. So our design team will design all these things with your help, and then
Sure.
we make the offer BOQ, and then together we close
Perfect.
the offer. Okay.
Perfect. Sounds good.
So our team leader is Aziz. You can
Okay.
directly talk with him
All
any
right.
issues,
Okay.
and I am always with you. No problem.
Okay. Perfect. Sounds good.
Great. So
All
thank
right.
you all for
See you.
participating. If you have any
Thank you
doubts,
so
questions,
much, team
feel free to
Alpha.
deviate. No, it's a pleasure, Devansh. Like I was going to say to the guys in Bangladesh, please, pass all your doubts and questions to Devansh and the Saffex team. And this way we can optimize communications and we'll give Saffex all the necessary support to be quick on the Bangladeshi market. Okay?
Yeah, sure.
Great. Have a good afternoon. Take care.
Good afternoon, Mr. Stefano.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. See you next
Bye-bye.
time.
Bye.
Bye.